Mother, is the black dragon posing at your ass?
Well, I saw the thing coming out of the sky. It had a one long horn and one big eye. It was a one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. One-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. A one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater sure looks strange to me. One-eyed. And then he swung from the tree and he lit on the ground and he started to rock, really rocking around. He was blowing it out, really knocking him dead, playing rock and roll music through the horn in his head. He really came down to earth and he lit in the tree. I said, Mr. Purple People Eater, don't eat me. I heard him say in a voice so gruff,
I wouldn't eat you 'cause you're so tough.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet Dragon Slayer Salad. Hello, everyone. I'm here once again, repping the salad. Just hanging out in Firelink Shrine, soaking up a little of that praisable sunlight. And last time on I Played a Thing, Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition, we slew a mighty foe, and sadly, an old friend. Now, we did that in order to procure a particular item, the Covenant of Artorias, so let's take a quick look at that. This ring symbolizes Knight Artorias' covenant with the beasts of the Abyss. Its wearer, like Artorias himself, can traverse the Abyss. It's unusual that we were able to travel the Abyss with no problem back in Ulasil, but presumably the Abyss in New Londo has had a while to cook, and perhaps it's a denser dark or something to that effect. In any case, yeah, if we try and confront the Four Kings without this ring on, we will die. And we do need to be wearing the ring, so it does take up an equipment slot, which is kind of a bummer, but what can you do? Anyway, if there's any upside to having to battle our old friend Sif, we did get a good supply of souls for it, so before we go head off to New Londo again, might as well pick up a level. Let's see. Well, we're getting close to the max of the useful endurance we can get, so we might as well pump that up to the maximum. Alright, 3 levels of endurance. That leaves us with very few souls, and that's good in case we die. And then we'll just need 1 more level in endurance, and we will have as much as we need. We could keep getting more for more equipment, but we won't ever get any more stamina, so that's where we'll stop, I think. Alright, very good. That allows us to do lots of rolling and lots of blocking, so our defense continues to improve. And you know what? There's no sense in continuing to wear this Pyromancer gear. I probably should have changed before I started the video, but what the hell. You know what? I can't imagine anything more appropriate for taking on the Four Kings than the Sealer equipment. So let's go ahead and chuck that on. Alright, let's see, what else? I'm going to attune up my, what do you call it? I'm going to attune up my Great Combustion, because the Four Kings do not take well to fire damage or magic damage, so I will have a source of both. I will have magic damage off my weapon on Great Magic Weapon, and I'm going to take Great Combustion instead of Black Flame, because Black Flame is half physical damage, half fire damage, whereas Great Combustion is pure fire damage, as you would expect, so it's going to be particularly good against these guys. Alright, I think we are all set for New Londo, although I suppose I should put my transient, see I didn't say transient, my transient curses into my item pile, just in case I need to refresh those in a hurry. And then, I suppose you've all really seen most of what there is to see in New Londo when I went there before to get the very large ember. So I am going to cut and retrace my steps as much as I need to. And then when I get to a point at which I'm going to be proceeding onward toward the Four Kings, I will cut back in. Also, I'm going to be going in human form, because there is an NPC summon that I'm going to want to pick up. That leaves me invadable, but we'll just have to deal with that as it comes. See you in a bit. Okay, we are definitely back in a new place. I wasn't sure at first, but yeah, the presence of this additional big, lumpy, grody thing definitely indicates that I am on the right track. And so we're going to have to kill it off, first of all. Which does require a little care, but it's not that bad of an enemy. Especially now that I've cleared out all of the ghosts and dark wraiths that were escorting it. Do have to mind that big spike it has, because that will do quite a bit of hurt to you. And its pukey attack will do a substantial amount of damage over time. Also, it's will-o-wisps, and they're very damaging explosions. But its health continues to, decline. Oh, I forgot, the damage over time slime does also cause you to slow down a great deal. So that's something to bear in mind, but it's dead. And will darken our doorstep never again. God, how long does it take for this slime to give up? There it goes, finally. And although ghosts are mainly in the upper part of New Londo, before you drain the water, there are still some, as you can see, down in the lower reaches. So you're not entirely free of need for transient curses. And we always appreciate chunks. And I believe if I go out this way, I'm definitely approaching the right place. And now I just have to find where that NPC summon is located. If I recall correctly, it's... yes. A little off the beaten path, mind the Dark Wraith. Oh, and there's an additional summon. That must be a player. Perhaps we'll do a little co-op action. We'll see if it's still there and successfully summonable once I finish up with the Dark Wraith here. And once I stop being an idiot about his follow-up swings. Like so. Oh! Careful there, Salad. That missed my opportunity. Well, that's alright. Oh, no, there it is again. Alright, we heal up. We'll see if Stolker wants to come along. Oh, think I missed my opportunity again. Oh well. One person we can definitely bring along is Beatrice. Hey, B, it's been a while. Now, whereas Beatrice was incredibly valuable in the Moonlight Butterfly battle, where she could pretty much solo the thing, she's actually kind of a liability in the Four Kings fight. Because the Four Kings do get more health as a result of her being along. And she doesn't really do them a whole lot of harm. Not enough to make up for the fact that she's buffing their hit points. So yeah, I do have to kind of question Beatrice's usefulness for this fight, but hey, it's an old friend. We should bring her along. And now I have to make very sure I put on the Covenant of Artorias, or else I will die instantly upon actually entering the Four Kings boss arena. And now we descend until we can fall into the blackness. While Beatrice hangs out and tries to kill a ghost that's hovering up near the top of the tower. B, that's not going to help. Buffy, you coming? I'm down here. She gets really fixated on that ghost. Oh, and by the way, you can just plunge down the middle into the pit, but you do run some risk of hitting a platform on the way down and killing yourself with fall damage. So, yeah. Nice shortcut, nice style points, but it can get you killed if you're not very good with your aim, and I don't trust myself that far. Holy good God, Beatrice, how did you do so much damage to yourself? Did you just jump off a ledge or something? Maybe I can Estus her back to health somewhat. Nope, guess that doesn't work for NPC summons. Oh well. She's really not that helpful here anyway. So, I should be putting on my catalyst. Unfortunately, I cannot put on my lingering ring because I just don't have the ring slots for it. Okay, I think we're about as ready as we're gonna get. I'll put on the Great Magic Weapon when I land, because it takes a moment or two for the Four Kings to appear. Whoa! And welcome to the Abyss. Now we just have to look around for where our first enemy shows up. Ah, I see him. The Four Kings have sword attacks, they have magic attacks, and they have a grab, which will steal any humanity you have in your pool. Also, it's a good idea not to take too long about fighting them, because... oh, they also have that homing magic. That's one that's really difficult to avoid. I'm gonna run into some Estus trouble here, I think. Also, it's wise to kill these guys without too much delay, because the other Four Kings start to spawn in gradually as the fight goes on. And having to deal with more than one at once can be quite a danger. Their attacks are slow, though, so if you are circling and strafing a lot, you will probably get missed sometimes. Well, B didn't last long. Oh, and neither will I think. This is a bit of a gear check battle, because there's only so much you can do to stay alive. You know, your dodging at close range is only so helpful. And ultimately, it comes down to whether you can kill them fast enough and survive long enough without getting gangbanged. And anyway, that's pretty much how that goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get myself back there, hopefully with a little more Estus to spare. And we'll see how it goes. Alright friends, here we are again. We have our witchy friend, we have 9 Estus, and we will hopefully not have Beatrice take an ill-advised plummet off the tower. Hopefully she will follow us rather than get obsessed with ghosts hiding in the walls. It seems no enemies have got her attention this time, and she's actually following me in a somewhat responsible manner. So yay for that. Oh, and before I forget, we'd better put our covenant on. Come along, Beatrice. Ha! I need not be wary of fall. I have the magical ring. What I think I'm going to do here is use up one casting of Great Magic Weapon, and then I'm just going to start flinging Great Combustions at them with my maxed out Pyromancy Flame. That should definitely help with the damage race. I would wear the Dusk Crown to get some additional magic damage in, but I'm not entirely certain that affects the Great Magic Weapon to begin with. And also, they use magic attacks, which means I would take more damage from them. And that's no good. Hey, there's my soul pile. I want that. Oh, and thankfully, the first of the kings appears fairly nearby, so I'm not wasting time running in the wrong direction. Honestly, with this fight, you probably don't want to worry about dodging too much. You just want to get your hits in and do lots of damage in a short period of time. Just if your health starts to get into a bad state, you'll want to heal, of course. Like I failed to do nearly quickly enough there. Having armor with some poise definitely helps with the Four Kings, because then you can take hits and heal right through them without flinching if you need to. But we're sticking to the light stuff, and so that's not really going to be an option for me. Well, see you in a bit. Hey, a summon sign. Could have some potential fun with this mostly naked man. Hello, naked guy.
Hello.
Let us proceed, sir. Oh! Gangbanged by dark wraiths is not the way I want to go out. Got real careless there. Well, we got a chunk, and that's good. We got another chunk. I'm definitely pleased. Unfortunately, I've kind of disoriented myself, and I'm not entirely sure where I'm going. I think this is the right general direction toward the boss area. Wow. Naked Man is proving incredibly good luck with respect to chunk acquisition. Can't say as I mind one bit. And there should definitely be some more dick wraiths and a few ghosts in here. Hi, guy. Whoops. Got really careless there, and so did my naked friend. Oh well. At least we had a little bit of jolly cooperation, as short-lived as it was. You don't get to grab salad. Only Laurentius gets to grab salad. But if you keep giving me chunks at such a ridiculously accelerated rate, all will be forgiven. My Estus situation is not quite as good as I would like it, but it could be worse. Oh, forgot about you. Ah, damn it. I do keep forgetting how vulnerable these guys are to backstab fishes. I should take advantage of that as much as possible, and oh my god, another chunk! I think I should be able to nearly max out my black bow, so that's nice. Alright, we'll put on our special ring. I could heal with humanity, but as I've mentioned, I always feel a little cheap about doing that. So we'll bring B in, and we'll give it another try. Hopefully I'll be a little more sensible about my healing timing this time. Damn it, Beatrice, never mind the ghost. Beatrice, you can't damage it. Beatrice. Beatrice. Well, fuck it, I'm diving and hoping I land right. That nearly went wrong. Hopefully Beatrice will make it. And there's my soul pile, and once again the king appears near it, so that's good for me. None of your blast nonsense. Oh! And I would prefer not to have your grab nonsense, especially when I have humanity in reserve. As you can see, I lost a bit of the humanity from that. Chug-a-lug. Okay, good. I'm not sure if Beatrice ever actually made it to the fight. I hope she did. Oh, that straight stab does a lot of hurt. I have a hard time recognizing the tell for that grab versus the tell for their magic attacks, so they tend to get me with it a lot. Oh shit, we've got a second king up our ass now. That's not going to help matters in the slightest. I don't think B ever got here. Need a heal opportunity. That was not the best one. Oops. Okay. Great magic weapon is gone, so it's time to start lighting them up. And we've got 3 kings active, and that is not the best situation. Yeah, this is going a little too wrong too often. Usually I don't have that much of a problem with them on New Game, but it seems my luck is all in chunks today. So I'm going to do the usual thing of cutting until I have an actual successful run, so I'll see you then.
Look!
Okay, once again rolling into post-commentary for the successful effort. Since you've seen the basics of this battle a few times before, I'd like to mention what my optimal method is for defeating the 4 kings, and that's to combine the highest possible DPS with the highest possible poise, and then just kinda not give a fuck. For example, you can't beat the Havel set for poise, and I don't need to roll for this strategy, so I just put on a full Havel set of armor, and For DPS, your optimal would be the Falchion or the Painting Guardian Sword if you had those maxed out. I like to use the Gold Tracer because it also has very high DPS and you can max it out with Twinkling Titanite. So just take a good set like a powered up Gold Tracer or whatever you have handy, and whatever high poise armor you have available. Again, Hovel set will do better than anything if you've already retrieved that from Anne Orlando. And then just run up and start smashing. And just do as much damage as you can, as quickly as you can, and just tank the hits. Don't even worry about dodging or blocking, and just heal as necessary, because if your poise is really high, they won't be able to stagger you out of your healing attempts. And so that tends to work out pretty well, especially in New Game Plus. The 4 Kings probably have the largest difficulty jump of any boss from New Game to New Game Plus, because they get so much more health and they do more damage in New Game Plus that killing the early ones before more of them start spawning in and just gangbanging you becomes really difficult, unless you're just straight up damage racing them with relatively little regard for your own survival, other than healing when you strictly have to. In New Game, they're not quite as bad, but that's still a really good strategy. But you can actually play a little bit sensibly in New Game if you like. If I had a little sense, whenever they did their spin around tell, I would run away, because that would mean either a blast area or a grab, and it doesn't matter which. If I ran away, I would be out of range of either. But I'm not playing that sensibly, because I never do. I think I use up a little bit of my mental bandwidth when I'm trying to do commentary at the same time. Oh well, the Great Combustion seems to have taken down the first one relatively quickly, at least. So we are on our second king. B is still standing, which is nice. If she's going to come into the fight at all, you want her to hang around as long as possible so she can maybe draw aggro a few times when you need her, and just so she can do as much damage as possible. But overall, as I mentioned, you're really better off taking the fight solo if you're just not trying to bring a friend along, as I was for purposes of this LP. Also, I noticed that when they're doing one of their vertical chops or one of their straightforward stabs, it may be more helpful to strafe to the right as opposed to my usual leftward habit, because then a lot of the time you will escape from the attack without having to block it and take partial damage. Well, you're probably not taking partial damage if you're not insistent on using the Eagle Shield like I am. The amount of partial damage I'm taking makes me think that I might have been better off going with the maxed out Black Knight Shield in this case, but what can I say? I'm stubborn and I don't always think things through. Also, if you hadn't already noticed and you hadn't picked up on my mentioning not being great at this game, my experience in Dark Souls greatly outstrips my actual skill at it. So I've played through it a lot of times, but I've never really gotten all that good. But as always, if you're looking for a super play, I Played a Thing is not the place you want to be. And there goes B. But we've got another king down. Starting to get a little short on the Estus here, and immediately get sucked up into a humanity grab, so as you can imagine, I was starting to sweat a little here. In no small part because in addition to doing damage of a very respectable quantity, the humanity grab takes a while for the animation to complete, so you're fairly likely to have it lead to another king spawning in. And I think before I take this one down, because I miss a few times, I get a third one coming in, which is just a really, really bad place to be, especially in the late stage of the fight when you're probably low on healing and a little worn down mentally. Yep, there's my third king. Oh, and there's their homing soul arrow style attack, which is fairly rarely seen in my experience, but I think they only do it most of the time if you're fairly far away, and being far away from the Four Kings is not something that you want, because that means you're not hitting them and they're using their magic attacks. But no matter how many kings are active, as long as you can get their shared health bar all the way down, any remaining ones will die. So thank goodness for that. If I had to defeat all 3 kings here, there's no way I would have made it. As it is, I barely made it. Probably should have been willing to lean a little harder on my great magic weapon, because I really did have time to reapply it a few times if the spirit had so moved me. But probably just out of a sense of urgency and slight panickiness, I didn't think to. But that, as they say, is that. And we get our required goodies, and I now return you to live commentary. As always, I hope you enjoy. Whew! That was for Ingward, and all the citizens of New Londo, and Artorias, and Syphils, you wanna-be Nazgul-looking motherfuckers. I don't know about Need Rear, but I did it. Finally. That was a lot more aggravation than I usually have with this boss fight, and I'm not entirely sure why. My tactics were pretty similar. Oh well. Let's pause for a moment and take a look at my bequeathed Lord Soul Shard. The hell is it? Oh, I guess that's probably a key item, yeah. Soul of one of the 4 kings who fell to dark. A fragment of a Lord Soul discovered at the dawn of the Age of Fire. Lord Gwyn recognized the foresight of these 4 great leaders of New Londo, and granted them their ranks and the fragments of a great soul. Although this is not a full Lord Soul, it can still satiate the Lord Vessel. So as you can see, if you take a long time to win this fight, the 4 kings can start respawning, so you may have to actually deal with more than 4 in total. But they do have a shared health bar, and when you finally drain that, they all drop. And thank goodness for that, because, man, could I have cut that any closer. Look at my health. Anyway, let's start by getting out of here. Might as well stop back at Firelink, it's as good a place as any. Actually, you know what? I'm also going to kindle up this bonfire, even though it's in a very silly place, just because I can. Now back to Firelink. And we should be able to get that final level of stamina. That's another positive. Alright. And, my vitality's been a little neglected for a while. I think I'll give myself a couple levels in that. Yeah, that looks good. My equipment's probably taking a bit of a beating. Oh, and just because I had some Twinkling Titanite to spare, between attempts of the 4 kings, I dropped a few Twinkling Titanite into my Sealer's robe here, just to give myself a little extra physical resistance. Also, during my travels, I leveled up the Black Bow as high as I can get without another slab, just because they were handing me so many Titanite chunks. We won't need the Covenant anymore. And finally, I picked up a Dark Hand, which I think goes into the shield slot. Where's my Dark Hand? I know I got one. Oh, there it is. The Dark Wraiths, incited by Kath, Kath being the opposite number of Frampt, and we will meet him eventually, use the power of the Dark Soul to absorb humanity, an art shared by this weapon which also acts as a special shield. The Ancients particularly could sap the humanity of even a replete saint in the blink of an eye. And as you can see, the damage reduction on physical is well under 100%, but the magic, fire, and lightning resistances are actually quite good as most shields go. But I have it in my offhand now, which means it acts not as a oh, I do have it in my... I didn't equip it at all! I am really off my game today, folks. I apologize. Okay, when I have it in my left hand, it acts as a shield, and I can generate that swirly field in front of me that the Dark Wraiths do, and that one PvPer that I encountered once upon a time. And if I put it in my right hand, I can punch with it, which is not terribly exciting in its own right. But if I use the strong attack, I will attempt to grab someone, and if I grab a human-type enemy, I can suck the humanity out of them, and it looks kind of like a hot makeout session. Alright, well, let's get my proper equipment back in order. My big pyro flame, and the black bow, and that will be good for now. Alright, our next stop. What shall it be? You know, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take on the other area that we began to investigate, but had not actually completed yet, that being the Duke's Archives. But first, a visit to Frampt.
I am pleased to see you well. Is it something urgent?
I'm not certain whether he says anything about the Four Kings, but we can always try.
The beings who possess...
No, same old.
Very well. Then stay still for a moment.
Lord Vessel, I brought you something. And it looks like it's burning a little brighter.
I am pleased. Is it...
Can't say anything else to him here.
Farewell, chosen.
And you know, something else occurs to me. We shouldn't really leave Ingward hanging. His job is done now, and, you know, we can free him from his long exile in New Londo. So let's go do that. I'll be back shortly. Hi, Ingward. We're twinsies. Also, that whole thing with you having to stay here forever to guard the seal and make sure the Four Kings don't get released, you can probably stop doing that now.
Magnificent. You defeated the Four Kings. Impressive, even for a bearer of the Lord Vessel. And with this, my purpose is exhausted. I have not seen the sun for a long time. Perhaps I could do with a change.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. If anyone deserves a vacation, it's probably you. So, how about I see you topside, buddy? And so then, Ingward returns to the surface world and takes up a spot in Firelink Shrine.
Oh, hello. The sunlight made me wince, and now I've come back to this dark hole. So what brings you here? I will help you in any way I can.
It's not really a dark hole. And now it seems that all he's got is the same stuff he had before, less the items that I bought from him previously. But if you need a curse broken, or need some emergency transient curses for some odd reason, can't imagine why you would after being done with New Londo, well, you can always come to him here. And at this point, I'm not entirely sure how long this episode has been running, because there's going to be a lot edited out. So, give me a moment, I'm going to check my runtime and get synchronized if I need to. So, I'll be back in just a bit. Hello again, everybody. It looks like we were at about the 50-minute mark, so we can get a little more time in. So what I'm going to do in the time remaining to me is take a quick look at the Valley of Drakes and something new that we can find there. Now, the Valley of Drakes, as I believe I mentioned before, is sort of a hub area, a secondary hub to Firelink Shrine, and it connects New Londo, the Darkroot Basin, and Blighttown. And it is thoroughly optional. There's really not a whole lot of importance here. Usually I just don't bother with it much. The main reason for the Valley of Drakes is that it has blue Drake dragon-type enemies that can be farmed for dragon scales. So, if you want lots of dragon scales and don't want to do the Dragon Covenant, that's your best way to get them. But I never really use dragon weapons all that much, so it's really not something that factors into my life. However, if you have defeated the Four Kings, and if you have summoned Beatrice at least once, it doesn't have to be for the Four Kings, you can have just summoned her for the Moonlight Butterfly and it'll still count. You can come here, find her body, get her gear. Her catalyst is pretty cool, although for low intelligence characters, the Ulasil one remains better. Let's have a quick look at that. Hat of the Rogue Witch Beatrice. Almost all magic users that employ a wand studied at Dragon School, but Beatrice is one of the few exceptions. She braved the abyss, but did not live to tell of her ordeal. Well, I guess that's what happened to Beatrice in her own timeline, I guess. She probably tried to take on the Four Kings, and unlike the Moonlight Butterfly, that's one she was not gonna solo. But I believe it is fairly decent light armor that she left for us, so we appreciate that. Let's see, this direction... Oh yeah, this is the Blighttown side entrance. This is the way we came back up from Blighttown as well. I'm gonna find one of those blue dragon enemies, just so you can see them. And right there, kind of hanging off the cliff to the left, you can see another undead dragon, much like the one we fought in the Painted World. This one doesn't aggro too easily. You can pretty readily just walk right past it as long as you don't hit it or try and take the stuff that it's got between its head and its claws there. I think one of the treasures there is the straight sword of Astora, which is a standard straight sword with, I think, some faith scaling and a divine benefit. I don't care about it all that tremendously. And moving onward, we should start running into the blue dragons pretty soon. They have lightning breath, which will do some damage through most defenses. They're fairly beefy, take a while to kill. Not the most dangerous enemies in the world, but generally not worth the amount of trouble it is to take one down. So again, unless you're insistent upon farming dragon scales, I don't know that fighting these guys is really worth it. You do have the option of attacking them from a distance with poisoned arrows. They can be poisoned, and that will let you take them out without getting their attention. I'm just waiting for the poison to bring them down. But other than that, there's really not all that much to say about them. They can take wing and blast you with lightning from above. That's one of the greater damages, I suppose, of dealing with them. But yeah, otherwise they just have their bite attack and their occasional lightning breath. Oh, they do bleed. So a weapon with bleed buildup will help to take them down a little faster if you can get your hits in rapidly enough. Hopefully I can get the attention of this one without the two behind him. That appears to be the case. Oh, that thing where they take off and fly and blast you from overhead? They don't always have very good sense about actually landing correctly when they do that. Sometimes they just try and land in the chasm, or walk themselves off the cliff at the last second, which is really pretty amusing, because yes, they will die from fall damage in that case. Yeah, none of them are dropping any scales for me, but since I'm really not using dragon weapons, I'm not that worried about it. Now, I have very good range with the black bow, so I should be able to poison one of these guys from afar. I don't have a lot of poison arrows, but it should be enough to do the job. Come on. Get poisoned, why don't you? Okay, I guess they just have decent poison resistance. And while that guy is slowly dying, I'm going to poison his neighbor. I do appreciate the range on this bow, even if its damage isn't the best you can get from a bow. I see a third guy over there. Looks like I'm a little too far away. Huh, just can't hit him from here. I didn't think he was standing that far back compared to the other two. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's happening here. I'm just going to hang out for a moment and let the poison run these two down. This, by the way, is the bottom entrance to the New Londo ruins, where the gate opens and lets the water rush out when you break the seal by turning that lever that Ingward gives you the key to. And you can't really see it from here, but on that right watchtower, there's a ladder leading up there. So there's another item there that I can grab real quick like. See if I can grab this item without attracting too much attention. Oh, no, there comes one. But just one. Well, I appreciate that. There's a dragon scale. The main reason for fighting these guys, because they certainly don't give you a very good bounty of souls when you take one down. Oh, and here's where you get the breaking gear, I guess. And another spider shield. I didn't actually know that was there. Oop, got a little careless with the lightning there. Oh, settle down there, Turbo. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. Much better. Here's that ladder I was talking about. Seems to be part of the control mechanism for the gate. But more importantly, up here we find the red tearstone ring. You may recall we found the blue tearstone ring very early in the game, and that is used to increase your defense when you're low on health. The red tearstone ring, on the other hand, boosts your attack when you're low on health. This is rather more useful, I think, because if you're low on health, then increased defense probably isn't going to save you. You can take this off. Whereas if you're low on health and you also stack a weapon buff and that sort of thing on top of it, then you can conceivably do a whole lot of burst damage. And if you're losing a battle, that can be kind of a turning point for you, or contrary-wise, if you want to deliberately keep your health low to do extra damage, that's a thing that many people do. Anyway, I think we've really done about enough for today. We've got to be over the hour mark at this point. Just a few extras here in the Valley of the Drakes. As always, this has been Un, and I hope you've enjoyed the trip. And I hope to see you next time when Salad goes to the library. See you then, and take care. Here at I Played a Thing, our gratitude spews forth in abundance to such very generous contributors as Justin Carpenter, Nolden, Zangamarth, Anonymous Benefactor, Sanguine Games, Frank Greasy, Joseph Coco, John Madigan, Misha Van Doren, and Johnny Millennium. And of course, our gratitude spews forth as well for all of our other patrons, subscribers, commenters, and viewers. Thank you all very much, and I hope to see you very soon.